Good morning, it's July 15th. This is To My Liberal Friends. Well, most people are looking at the midterm elections in 2026. I want to look a little further out in the future. The year 2028 may be the best opportunity for a Democrat to win the White House, and that's certainly not something that's a guaranteed proposition. Just looking at 2028 first, I believe that J.D. Vance is in the best position to become the Republican nominee. There may be other Republicans that challenge him, but he certainly should be the front runner. Any talk of Donald Trump somehow running for a third term would run squarely into the 22nd Amendment. For a little bit of history, this amendment was pushed by Republicans because Franklin Delano Roosevelt won the presidency for a record 4 terms. He died in office during his 4th term. But those were unique times in our history with the Depression and World War II. Republicans later thought they might have been a bit hasty because most political pundits felt that Dwight Eisenhower could have won a 3rd term in 1960. But there was never any assurance that he would have been interested in the 3rd term. And I'm a strong supporter of the 2-term limit. Who the Democratic nominee might be in 2028 is anybody's guess. Certainly there's going to be multiple candidates. Would Kamala Harris be foolish enough to try and mount another campaign? Her fellow Californian Gavin Newsom is absolutely going to throw his hat in the ring. There'll be support for Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. The governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, is certainly looking at it. And I would not count out the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. He would have been a much better vice presidential candidate than Tim Walz, but many within the Democratic Party shied away from him because he's Jewish and a strong supporter of Israel. That would not go well with the anti-Israel faction of the Democratic Party. But let's skip over the 2028 presidential election and look at 2032. Whoever wins the 2028 election will be a strong favorite in that race, but there's a major complicating factor staring the Democrats in the face that will change the odds dramatically. The last several presidential races have been very close, reflecting that we're a politically divided nation, and it was only Donald Trump being able to narrowly win the 7 key swing states that delivered the White House to him for a second time. The change I'm referring to is the 2030 census. This could be a major game changer for presidential politics. We're still 5 years out from the census, but statisticians are already making some projections as they watch the population change around the country. In the last census, it resulted in a shift of 7 states in the House of Representatives among 13 states. Texas gained 2 representatives, while 5 other states, Colorado, Florida, Montana, North Carolina, and Oregon, each gained 1 additional seat in Congress. Conversely, 7 states lost 1 House seat each. They were Illinois, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and California. The loss of a seat in California was the biggest shocker to me because I have seen them growing over the past 60 years, and I personally never thought they would see a loss in population. Well, moving to the 2030 census and how it will affect the 2032 presidential election, the experts are now predicting another shift in the population. Right now, they expect California to lose 4 to 5 seats, New York 2 to 3 seats, and Illinois 2 seats. Other states that are projected to lose a seat, and that means electoral college votes, are Minnesota, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Wisconsin. That means states are going to pick up seats in Congress, and again it means electoral votes. And those states are Texas with 4 to 5 more seats, Florida with 4 to 5 more seats, Arizona with 1 seat, Idaho and Utah getting 1 more seat in Congress. Of course, these are all projections, and nothing will be certain until the official census is in and how that data is interpreted. But if we assume at a minimum 11 seats are going to change, could be as many as 13, then we know that these seats, and therefore electoral votes, are moving from what would be considered Democratic states to those that would be considered Republican states. A swing of 11 electoral votes from one column to the other will have a huge effect on who wins the White House in both the 2032, 2036, and 2040 elections. As far as the makeup of the House of Representatives, I'm not sure it will change within individual states. In California, the Democratic majority will simply redraw their congressional districts and more than likely eliminate at least 3 Republican seats. The same will hold true in New York, Illinois, and Minnesota. But Republicans will pick up at least 3 congressional seats in Texas, maybe 4. 1 might become a Democratic seat, while in Florida that might mean a plus of all 4 in the Republican column. Certainly Idaho and Utah will be a pickup for Republicans in the House and most likely in Arizona as well. Pennsylvania losing 1 seat is a toss-up on whether it means the elimination of a Republican or Democratic seat, depending on the population shifts within the state. This is one of the reasons why Democrats have been pushing an open border for the past 4 years and why they are trying hard to find a way to make these new immigrants citizens so they can vote. Under the law, all people are supposed to be counted in the census, but Experts acknowledge that illegal immigrants are afraid to fill out a census form and be counted. In California, this is acute because they're a hemorrhaging population due to their high taxes and heavy-handed regulatory state. If these illegal immigrants were simply counted in Texas, it would increase that state's population as well, and that's a plus for Republicans. But the fact remains that Democratic states look to lose multiple congressional seats, and it will change the presidential electoral calculus for the 3 elections after the 2030 census. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.